I sit alert and look at myself in order to understand myself correctly. Looking at myself closely in order to understand myself. Looking at myself closely is the way to understand myself correctly. I take myself to be a person. What is this person? Is it not a product of memory? Memory is the mind. Mind is memory. Memory is the past. Memory is the known. Now, the person that I take myself to be this person, is this person not a product of memory? Indeed, the person that I take myself to be is the product of the memory. You see that. In the absence of memory, you are not that person. You are whatever you are, but certainly not the person. In the absence of memory. Memory is the past. Meaning, memory is the history. Therefore, the person that I take myself to be can be called the historic self. Am I the historic self? The product of the past? Or am I something else? This is a challenge. This discovery is an adventure, spiritual adventure. Now I look at myself and I allow the mind to download all of its baggage. Meaning memory. The kind of the memory is suspended at present. I do not allow the memory to come in. I keep it aside. It can be easily done, not difficult at all. The memory is suspended. Having suspended the memory, am I the person? No. The thing to note is, even after putting aside the memory, still I am. Even suspending the memory temporarily, still I am. I very much am. That means I am not the product of memory. I am not the historic self. I am not the person that I believe to be. This is very intriguing. If you look closely, this is very intriguing. If you don't get the required interest and if you allow it to pass, then you remain the historic self, the person, and life continues the same way. But if you have adequate interest to know yourself, then you cannot ignore this question. As I put the memory aside, I'm not the historic self anymore. Because the historic self, the so-called person, is entirely manufactured by the memory. As the memory is suspended, if I am not the historic self, then who am I? What a riddle. What am I? This question, who am I? Or even, what am I? Is the most important question of the entire psychology and philosophy. If you stay with that question, who am I? Because I am not the person manufactured by the memory. Then who am I? You stay with the question. It cannot have answer because the answer has to come from memory, and memory is suspended. There is only question. Who am I? That question purifies the mind and opens the door to the real. Who am I? Sit at ease. And open the eyes slowly. Karunalayam mame bhagavatpadashankaram lokashankaram ajñānānmānasopādheḥ kartṛtvādīni cātmani kalpyante'mbugate candre calanādi yathāmbhasaḥ. The word ajñāna, I have not explained that much. Everything else is explained. We will briefly look at this verse and then proceed to the next verse. You see, Atma is Sat Chit Ananda. We are coming to that in the next verse also. Sat Chit Ananda. That is Atma. Meaning that is what you are. You are Sat Chit Ananda. You are not the person that you believe yourself to be. The person is a product of the memory. And in the absence of memory, you still are there, but not a person. So, you are Satchidananda. Satchidananda is not difficult to understand because you are, that is Sat. You know that you are, You don't need some light or some eyesight or some hearing to know that you are. First you know that you are. Then only perception, inference, etc. First you know that you are. Then only the scriptures and gods and goddesses. First you must be there. Did you ever notice that? I am, and I know that I am. Then only God. Before that there is no God. In fact, the sequence is I am, now and here. So first you begin with yourself, your own being, knowing your own being. That is where you begin. Then comes space and time, here and now. Then comes the world. Then comes the God. God comes at the end. First world comes. And you wonder where from this world has come. Somebody must have made it. That is the God. That is the sequence. So what is the sequence? Sat, Chit, space, time, world, and God. That is the sequence. Don't you see that? So, first and foremost, you are. And you know that you are. Sat, Chit. And you become the person and become unhappy. Otherwise, you are quite comfortable also. Ananda. Ananda is not excitement. Ananda is not ecstasy. Ecstasy is not good for the system. That's why people who become ecstatic, the system cannot handle that level of excitement. The system will break down. You should not be ecstatic for any length of time. For a minute or two, be ecstatic and be done with it. Otherwise, the system will break down. The system means the brain cells, etc., nervous system. It will break down if you are too much ecstatic. Ecstasies are no good. So you are what you are, and you are happy and peaceful. That is Ananda. So you are Satchidananda. There can be no doubt about it. That is the most obvious truth, that you are Satchidananda. Sat is what? Timeless being. That is Sat. But you are afraid of death. How come? You are the timeless being and afraid of death. And you are Ananda and worried about happiness, searching for happiness. Why so? Because of ajñāna. Okay? If you address this ajñāna, it will take out the fear of death. Then you need not worry about how long I live, when will I die, how will I die, how to prolong life. All this rigmarole comes to an end. Because of ajñāna only, all those things are there. Okay? And then our life is a constant search for happiness. Look at the life. What is it that we are doing in life? Constantly searching for happiness. How come? You are the very source of happiness. You are the Ananda, the bliss, the repository of happiness. That is what you are. And still you are searching for happiness. Why? It is like a billionaire begging for $1 or $2. Why so? Ajñāna. You look at the danger of ajñāna. Ajñāna converts the timeless being into a person seeking long life. Ajñāna converts the very repository of happiness into a beggar of happiness at the door of the world. See the power of ajñāna. And within ajñāna, it is something like wheels within wheels. Did you hear that expression? Wheels within wheels. It comes from P.G. Wodehouse. Did you hear the name of that author? Wodehouse, P.G. Wodehouse. He writes some nice comics. So in one of these stories, there are wheels within wheels. Similarly, there is ajñāna, that is a wheel. And within that, the fear of death, begging for happiness, and then sense of doership. Like that, wheels within wheels are there because of ajñāna. That ajñāna, the word I thought I should explain. So ajñānāt, because of that ajñāna, mind becomes upadhi. Mind is not, by itself it is not upadhi. It is only because of ajñāna mind becomes upadhi. And once the mind is upadhi, the qualities of the mind are wrongly superimposed upon Atma. And Ātmani, what are the qualities of the mind? The sense of doership, kartṛtvādīni. That is one quality of the mind. And you superimpose upon Atma. Mind is doing. Mind is doing. Because even thinking is also doing only at a certain level. Mind is doing. All action originates from the mind. Therefore, mind is doing. Atma is being. Got it? And doing and being are not same. Doing is different, being is different. But because of the ajñāna, the doing is superimposed upon Atma. Now you take the doing and being as the same. Are you following? So suppose I ask you, what are you? I am an engineer. Engineer is doing. And I am is Atma, the being. So you are confused between doing and being. People identify themselves based on the profession. What does it mean? It means you derive the sense of self. Self is always with you. Self is I am, is always with you. But that sense of self you associate with the profession, which is doing. Profession is doing. You acquire a skill of engineering, whatever skill it is. You all know what is that skill. You go to the university and acquire the skill of engineering, and so you make a living out of it, which is fine, which is great. In the outer life you need it. You have to do that. All that is fine. But you derive the sense of self, that I am, from the job that you do. And so you take yourself to be, I am an engineer, I am a doctor, I am a priest. And this guy comes to study Vedanta and studies some Vedanta, Tattvavidananda, etc. Something he studies. Tattvavidananda he studies, and one or two Upanishads he studies, Katha and Kena. And then Brahma Sutra is the avabhrutha snanam. You know avabhrutha snana? Inside the end of the long ritual, the final bath is called avabhrutha. And so he goes through the routine of the Brahma Sutra. The teacher goes through it rather. And that is finished. And so that is the avabhrutha snanam. Now he says, I am the teacher. You are not the teacher. Teaching is a job. You are deriving the sense of self from the job that you do. Instead of saying there is teaching, I am, and there is teaching. That is the truth. But you derive the sense of self from what you do. I am the teacher. Something like, I am the cook. This is the ajñānānmānasopādheḥ. That means the quality of the mind is superimposed upon Atma. So that means you imagine being and doing as the same, which they are not. Being is changeless. Doing is change. How can they be the same? North Pole and South Pole cannot be the same. +5 and -5 cannot be the same. So, but that is the ajñāna. Ajñāna makes you believe that doing and being are identical. It is not so. Here is a question. So, but identification, is it not an act? It is not an act. You see, knowledge is the word. Action versus knowledge. Action is movement. Knowledge is no movement. It is. Knowledge is different from action. They are two different realms. Are you okay with that? Therefore, knowledge is different, action is different. Now, the knowledge could be right or wrong. When you say it is the rope, that is the right understanding, right knowledge. When you say it is the serpent, it is wrong knowledge. So whether it is a right understanding or a delusion or illusion, still it is knowledge only, therefore it is not an act. Therefore identification is always false. You should not identify with anything. You see space, it doesn't identify with anything. It is without identification. You take two pots, fill one pot half with Ganga water, the other part half with country liquor. Now the Ganga water pot is pious, sacred. The country liquor pot is not good, right? The liquid inside the Ganga water pot is sacred. The liquid inside the other pot is no good. The air inside the Ganga water pot is sacred. The air inside the country liquor pot is no good. The space inside the Ganga water pot and the space inside the country liquor pot, they are same. You got it? Space is neither pious nor bad. Pot is pious or bad, that is Prithvi. Liquid is pious or bad, Apaha. Air is pious or bad, but not space. Not space. Space is unattached. It doesn't get attached to anything. Atma is like space. You are space-like. You always look at yourself as space. You never look at yourself as the physical thing, solid, liquid, gas. You are not the physical thing. It is the body-mind. Therefore, all identification is false. You should not identify with anything. Generally, the worldly people identify with all kinds of things. They identify. In the youth, they identify with kind of many things. In the middle age, they identify. In the old age also, they identify. Almost on the deathbed also, they identify. Means the ajñāna, it continues. Identification, self-identification. Identification means self-identification. You identify the self with the non-self. That is the identification. It is bad. It hurts. So, you see, one old man was on the deathbed. I knew him well. And so he wanted to see me. Or rather, I wanted to see him also. So I went and sat with him, sat near his bed in the hospital for a few minutes. Then he asked me, give some upadesha to me. What upadesha I can give? On the deathbed. If you come to the class, something understanding is a possibility. But on the deathbed, what upadesha I can give? But anyway, so he should have come to the classes. He never did that. So when he was energetic, he was doing other things, worldly things. But now he wants upadesha because he is afraid of death. Then I told her, there is only one upadesha, pa. You say Shri Rama, Shri Rama. In the heart you say, not in the head. So I asked him, you say it? Now, where are you saying? In the head you are saying, in the heart you are saying? You check it and tell me. So he checked and told her it is in the head. No, that is not the right way. Do it in the heart. Bring it down. Then he said, okay. But then he asks me, I have one unhappiness still lingering in my heart. What is that unhappiness? This Sri Rama is not coming naturally because of that unhappiness. What is that unhappiness? My first daughter came, third daughter came, but the second daughter did not come yet. That is the unhappiness. These are samsaris. It doesn't feel nice to say or to hear, but it has to be said, because the next verse is raga only, attachment, that I have anticipated and said it. So the person is on the deathbed, he is about to die, and he wants an upadesha, but he cannot stay with the upadesha because of his identification with another person, self-identification. I am the father. Okay, you are the father, Appa, okay, but you have seen first daughter, be happy. Third daughter also you have seen, be happy. The son is by the side, be happy. No, second daughter has not come. Then second daughter comes. He will have another reason to be unhappy, because there are multiple identifications. This is how the self-identification is the most misleading thing in people's lives. The most misleading, that you identify with a job and become a doer, which you are not. Because being and doing are not same at all. They are not same. So the mind and body, they move. That is the doing. The mind and body, they move and they change. And sometimes one mind and body moves and makes other minds and bodies move. That is also there. Kartṛtvam, hetu kartṛtvam. The mind and body move. The mind and body, while moving, make other mind and bodies to move. So all of that is there in the mind and body. That is the doing, that is the action. So it is in the body-mind, the action. So it is not in the Atma. It is not in the pure being, in Satchidananda Atma. It is not there. So I am the being, shining as the knowing, timelessly aware of what is going on. That is the Atma. But he doesn't know that, ajñānāt. Therefore, he takes the actions of the body-mind as his own actions, and therefore assumes himself or herself to be the doer. You may wonder, suppose I am the doer, then what? You see, as long as you believe that you are the doer, you can never be at peace, and your mind can never be quiet. The sense of doership, keeping the sense of doership, holding on to the sense of doership, that I am the doer, you cannot keep the mind quiet, because that illusion that you are the doer is the most painful illusion it is. So that puts you on a roller coaster. Even this continues even on the deathbed, because the body cannot move, the mind is racing inside that body. The body cannot move. You imagine that situation? The mind is racing, body cannot move. What can be worse pain than that? Worse, there cannot be a worse suffering than that. If the mind is quiet, body moving around, you are happy, you are liberated. Mind is agitated and restless. Body became sick because of that reason. Body is on the bed, bedridden. That is the most painful state. And that is how people live, and that is how people die. Ajñānānmānasopādheḥ. Therefore, you see, you have to understand whether things are done to you or you do things. Do you eat the food or does the food eat you? Food eats you. By the time a person consumes a certain amount of food, he will fall dead. Because the food, it's all organs are eaten by the food. And if you don't eat properly, they will eat quickly. You see, people drink alcohol. Do they drink alcohol? Or alcohol drinks them? So, do you live the life or the life lives you? You are lived by the life. You are always the karma, never the karta. Who told you? Okay? So you have to look closely to understand that you do not do things. Things are done to you. Okay? You have not become a father by your will. The nature made you a father. A child made you a father. A lady made you a husband. So you don't become a husband. It so happens that you are made into a husband by a lady and by a function and by a few things. Things are done to you. It is like a person is under anesthesia, general anesthesia, and surgery is done upon him. And he wakes up, comes out of the anesthesia and says, I have undergone surgery. Did he undergo surgery? Surgery is done upon him. He did not undergo surgery. We are like that. We are under the dose of a strong dose of ajñāna. We are deluded people, assuming that I am doing this, I am doing that. You are not doing anything because you wrongly identify with the mind. You wrongly identify with the doing. You are the being, but wrongly identify with the doing. And therefore you assume, I do. You don't do. You don't cook. The time is cooking you. This is coming from Yaksha Prashna. And maybe next year we can do Yaksha Prashna in the evening. That is a great text, Yaksha Prashna. The very challenging text. Challenging means not that it is difficult to understand the language. Language will be quite all right. But the vision of the entire life, Yaksha Prashna, it is very fulfilling text it is. So we will do that. In the Yaksha Prashna there is a question. What is the news? Ka varta. What is the news? The news is the Lord, he has got hold of a big cauldron. You know cauldron? Kataha. And put these jivas into that cauldron and put fire underneath. Then what else? Cauldron will see kya hota hai? And then he is cooking all these guys. We are all getting cooked by the time. We think we are doing this, we are doing that. You are not doing anything. So things happen as they happen. And you see, you apportion blame or praise later. Somebody told me, so please don't blame me. This I have done to you, please don't blame me. My answer to that person is, things happen as they happen. And it is out of ignorance that we apportion blame on this person or on that person. I am not blaming anybody. And things happen as they happen. You rest assured, I am not blaming you. Things happen as they happen. So, man is not the doer. People have to understand. They have to look closely. So you apportion the blame only after the sense of doership arises. You are not a doer while sleeping. You are not a doer when you watch something closely. When you are alert, you are not a doer. You are only a witness. When you are laugh heartily, you are not a doer. And when the heartily laugh is over, then you say, I laughed. Therefore, you are not a doer. So, this is something you have to carefully understand. First, seeing or seer? Seeing. First seeing. Then comes the seer. First seeing, then comes the seer. First hearing, then comes the hearer. First doing, then comes the doer. Okay? Therefore, you are not the doer. There is a proverb in Telugu. The daughter-in-law has finished all cooking. Everything she has cooked nicely and arranged. Then the mother-in-law comes and lifts the lids and examines every one of them and says, well done. And when the guests come, please come, I have kept all food ready for you. This is a proverb in Telugu. So similarly, the things happen. And then you come, the person, the historic self comes up, the doer comes up. Why it comes up? Ajñānāt. And identifies with the body-mind, takes himself or herself to be the doer, and then claims the doership of the thing that is already done. Like the young boy joins the university, college, and lives in hostel and studies well and becomes a graduate. Then the proud father says, I made him a graduate. I educated him. I brought him up. I have given birth to him. This is how the proud father claims. But suppose he fails the exam, then he is not the doer. The student becomes the doer. The son becomes the doer. Very sad. Therefore, this doership is a myth. So where action is needed, action happens. Inhalation is over, exhalation happens. Exhalation is over, inhalation happens. Where action is needed, action happens. Man is not the actor. Okay? So you are the presence and you know the witness. And the things happen. Body, mind. That is the truth. So, you see, when you take yourself to be the doer, then the doing becomes action and it will have phala, karma, and it will have phala, sukha or dukkha. But suppose you know that you are not the doer. Doing happens, but the doing is not an action anymore. Because it is not, action is always that of an actor. And if you are not the actor, that is the truth. You know that you are not the actor, then the doing is not an action. It is only, you can give a name to it. The name is work. It is only a work. And it will have no phalam. Work will not have phalam. Only action will have phalam. You see, this is one thing one has to understand. The power of knowledge, understanding, the power of understanding, people do not appreciate. They assume that the karma has power, karma has glory, karma produces outcomes, whereas understanding, what outcome can it have? Therefore, they put all their effort into karma. Because of ignorance, they do that. You see, suppose a person becomes unhappy. In the evening, some event happened and he became unhappy, suppose. And now he examines that unhappiness, that sorrow, and he processes it. He watches it, etc. And he is a wise person. And before he goes to sleep, he has already processed that sorrow. Now he is not sorrowful anymore. And then he goes to sleep. Next day morning, will he wake up sorrowful or quiet? He will wake up quiet because he went to sleep quiet, without sorrow. He wakes up quiet. Now how he wakes up? A sorrowful person. Death is long sleep. That is the difference between sleep and death. Sleep is short duration, death is long duration. That is the fundamental difference. Of course, another difference is, it is not a difference, but taken as a difference. In sleep, the same person wakes up. In death, after death, another person wakes up. That is not the point. Even that is, this person is a myth and that person is a myth. What difference it makes? Therefore, the power of understanding is that you go into sleep with a quiet mind, got rid of sorrow. You wake up with a quiet mind. You go, suppose you don't have the understanding. Here it is not the karma. It is the understanding, not karma. So by doing karma, you will not get rid of sorrow. That is not the way. So sorrow is a product of ajñāna, and jnana eliminates sorrow. Now, the whole life you live, that you are a doer, performing all kinds of actions, good as well as bad. Because you are a doer, then it becomes action. Action will have result. And if the result is sukha, this is good. The other way also, if this is good, the result will be sukha. If this is bad, the result will be dukkha. And so the person lives as a doer whole life, and he dies as a doer, and then he takes birth again with another body as a doer. Suppose he knows that he is not the doer, then he doesn't die, the body dies. He is the timeless being. The body dies, and he won't get another body. That is called moksha. You see the power of knowledge, power of understanding. You understand that you are not the doer. You are liberated then and there. You don't need anything else. Doership resolves everything. I always remind the students of this verse from Gita, that is, yah pashyati. Pashyati is important. Understanding, not some knowledge put into the brain cells. Yah pashyati tathatmanam sapashyati. 13th chapter. This is the second line. I don't remember the first line. Sri Krishna is saying, the one who sees, means understands deep within, that he is not the doer. Sapashyati. He is the jnani. He is liberated. That is moksha. Therefore, this sense of doership, we have done a little in the earlier class, but it is very important. That's why I am spending a little more time upon it. You say again? Prakrityaiva hi karmani kriyamanani sarvashah yah pashyati tathatmanam kartaram sapashyati. Prakriti is the locus of all actions. What is the prakriti? Nature. Take it like that. The 5 elements are there, that is the nature. Now look at the body mind. Is it you or is it prakriti? Prakriti. So the Prithvi outside is Prithvi here. The water outside is the water here. The wind outside is the wind here. The heat outside is the heat here. This akasha, space outside, is the space here. Therefore, this body mind is also similar. The body mind It belongs to the nature. It belongs in the nature, not you. This is called Prakriti Purusha Viveka. That is discernment between Prakriti, the nature, and Purusha, the Atma. Purusha is Atma, not the person here. And 13th chapter is called Prakriti Purusha Viveka Yogaha. And that verse is from 13th chapter. Therefore, you are not the actor. When you understand that, there is a tremendous freedom that I am not the actor. Things happen. We do not make things happen. Things happen. Okay? So there is a tremendous freedom in understanding that you are not the actor. Here what I want to point out is people don't want to understand. This you have to pay attention. They don't want to understand. Suppose a greedy person is there, lobhi, greedy person is there. And suppose somebody, Vedanti says, you do not own any wealth. Suppose a person says. The greedy man, does he want to understand that? No, he doesn't want to understand that. He doesn't want to understand that. Because if he understands that, it is like pulling the carpet from underneath his feet. He is living with the greed for money. And you tell him that the money doesn't belong to you. It is not yours. He will die of a heart attack, but he will not understand that, I tell you. Because he doesn't want to understand. That's why people who are the kattar karmis, so for them, the karma vyagrata, the karma asakti is very deep rooted. You go and tell them you are not the karta, they don't understand. Because they don't want to understand. In Vedanta, this is another problem. This is another problem. They don't want to understand. So, Lord Vishnu story, some story. I am a bit tired, therefore a small story. Tired means I am speaking for an hour almost, that's why. Don't mind, otherwise I am okay. So Lord Vishnu tells Prahlada, hey Prahlada, I am planning to give moksha to you immediately. Then Prahlada said, please just wait. Why? Why should I wait? You don't want moksha or what? No, I want moksha. By all means, I want moksha. That's why I am worshipping you. But my colleagues are there, school colleagues. I studied with these kids, and I want them also to come with me. He was very innocent and very loving boy. Then he said, okay, I will include them also. Go and find out whosoever wants moksha, Vishnu is ready to give. He went and he goes and asks every one of the students. You know what they say? We will consult our parents and tell you. Okay, consult parents and tell. They go to the parents. Parents said, no hurry for moksha. Keep quiet. Studying 5th class and now moksha? No, after university education is over, get married, have children, then we can think of moksha, not now. Then the kids come back and tell, hey Prahlada, we are very thankful to you for the kind offer, but we don't want moksha at present. Then he tells Vishnu, none of them wants moksha. It's okay, then you try others. He asks elders. They have their own reasons not to accept moksha immediately. They have their own reasons. No, my grandson's marriage is not yet over. Therefore, moksha, I will take care of it after my grandson's marriage is over. So they don't want moksha. Then Vishnu, he comes back to Vishnu. Nobody, even elders don't want moksha in our town. Then, so what are you planning to do now? Suddenly Prahlada remembered. There are some animals in our village. In India, India, dogs are street dogs, etc. And sometimes in some places, some of our varaha also will be around. Pigs, they will be around. Pig, if you don't like the word, you may say boar, whatever. Maybe they will be interested in moksha. So he asks one street dog, Vishnu is willing to give moksha. So what do you say? It says, moksha means going to Vaikuntha? Yes. Let us say like that, yes. In Vaikuntha, will there be this municipality dumps where all spoiled things are thrown? Prahlada says, I don't know. You please find out. Then I will think about it. Then Prahlada goes to Vishnu and asks, where all people throw all kinds of waste, those bins, municipality bins. You have to think of India, where you find these things rotting there and bad smell also. Such bad smelling, rotting municipality bins full of waste, food waste, etc. Will they be found in Vaikuntha? Prahlada asks Vishnu. Vishnu said, no, they will not be there. Vaikuntha will be like phoenix. It will not be like that. You don't find any of them there. Then he comes back and tells to the dog. Then the dog says, I am not interested in moksha. This is the story. And this story you find in Bhagavatam. So, therefore, people don't want to know. They are not interested in knowing the truth. So, therefore, you are not the doer. Then a question comes, what about fixing a goal and working for it? So the question is not relevant, because we are talking of the 13th adhyaya and the question is settled in the 2nd adhyaya itself, in Gita. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Okay. You see, there is a book on surgery, I think authored by Boyd, B-O-Y-D, Boyd. I suppose I am right. Big book, Surgery, the basic elements of surgery by Boyd or somebody. In that book, in the first page, so the surgeon performs the operation, sews, sewing, sews the wound and the body heals. That is what he writes. Therefore, the surgeon doesn't heal, the medicine doesn't heal, the sewing doesn't heal, the body heals. Okay? If that is the vision of a surgeon, all the surgeons are supposed to have that vision. If that is the vision, then what kind of a doer you are? You are not a doer. But then, what about the goal? Goal is part of the duty, work. So forget about the action. Action will have phala. So don't make it action, it is work. So make it work. And then don't stop it at work. Make it duty. So it is the duty. And the duty will have a conclusion also. So duty will have a conclusion. You see, suppose you are cooking. Cooking is your duty. Putting tasty food on the table is not phala. It is part of the duty, it is. In fact, you cook only to put the tasty food on the table. Therefore, you wrongly separate the working and the goal. They are not separate. The working includes the goal. When the working reaches its end, that is the goal. All of that is karma. Okay, all of that is karma. Okay, and karma phala will come later in the future. Therefore, you always work, and the point of finish of the work is the goal. That way you work. But suppose finishing the work is not my goal, getting the money reward is my goal, then you have put a wrong thing as the goal, and your work will not flourish. It will not come well. It will be very mediocre stuff. You can never excel in that. So it's a karma yoga. But the point is made, right? Therefore, the work, there is duty. And the conclusion of the duty is also part and parcel of the duty. And now you look at yourself. You are devoted to the duty. Suppose you are totally devoted to the duty and working well with full attention. Are you the doer at that time? You are not. And if you are the doer, the work will not go properly. There is not proper attention and work will be mediocre stuff. Okay? But when you do it with full attention, you are not the doer. Work goes on, but you are not the doer. Okay? Now work is successfully completed. Then you feel that you are the doer. That is wrong on your part. You are making a mistake. Okay? So that is a different topic, but that is raised, and so we have covered that. Are you satisfied with the explanation? Okay? Therefore, it is satisfied. Therefore, you are not the doer. When we say you are not the doer, you should not pull it to the quality of the work that is being done. Okay? Suppose you are not the cook, suppose I say. That means you cook something and then tasteless food you put there. That is not the idea. Even when very nice and tasty food is prepared and put on the table, you are not the doer. You have to understand that. You see, after listening to the entire Ramayana, you ask the question, in which way, what is the relation between Rama and Sita? So like that, I finished 1 hour class that you are not the doer. Now you brought it back to the square one. But anyway, no problem. Did you now understand what I am trying to say? Okay. Therefore, don't confuse the work, hard work, goals, this, that, karma, phala, all that you don't confuse. We are talking of the Atma, which is not the doer. Are you the body? Are you the mind? Then you are not the doer. Then from now onwards, we don't cook at home, we don't work in the office. That is not the conclusion. If you conclude that way, you are still the doer. Okay? You are still the doer. Because only the doer says, I will not do. Okay? Therefore, you have to get rid of identification first from phala, phalabhimana. This I have said. Then second from doership, kartṛtvādīni. Then third from non-doership, akartṛtvādīni. Means, except being aware of what is going on, you are not the doer. That doesn't mean you will stop what is going on. If you stop what is going on, that is you have become a doer. Okay? So that point is clear. Now, let us finish the verse. Ajñānānmānasopādheḥ kartṛtvādīni cātmani kalpyante'mbugate candre kalpyante'mbugate candre calanādi yathāmbhasaḥ. It is the study of Atma. If you want to know yourself, just take one verse from Ātmabodhaḥ and contemplate upon it. You end up knowing yourself correctly. That is the power of these verses. That is the glory of these verses. Next verse. Rāgecchāsukhaduḥkhādi buddhau satyāṃ pravartate suṣuptau nāsti tannāśe tasmādbuddhestu nātmanaḥ. Now we take up a few other aspects of life. We have seen the karma kartṛtvam. Now let us take up raga. Raga is attachment. Now, yad bhave, yad bhavati, yad abhave, yan na bhavati. Like that, there is anvaya vyatireka rule. Okay? You see, when when there is good rain, the crop is good. When the rain is not good, the crop is not good. You understand both sentences? Now make a conclusion. The conclusion is, the good rain is the source of good crop. That is the conclusion. How can you say that? How can you say good rain is the cause of good crop? How can you say? Because, we can say that because when there is good rain, there is good crop, and when there is no rain, the crop is totally lost. That's why. You know, understand? So, Anvaya and Vyatireka. What is Anvaya? Anvaya Nishedha, not Vyatireka. Anvaya Nishedha. Anvaya Vyatireka is different. Anvaya Nishedha. What is Anvaya? Yad bhave, yad bhavati. And what is Nishedha? Yad abhave, yad na bhavati. Okay? Now, waking state versus deep sleep. In waking state, there is mind and there is attachment. In deep sleep, there is no mind and there is no attachment. Now, where is the attachment? Now, what is the locus of the attachment? The mind. You did not get it? Is it not so obvious? So, when there is mind, there is attachment. For some reason, whatever it may be, there is no mind, there is no attachment. For example, in deep sleep, you are not attached because there is no mind. In waking, you are attached because there is the mind. Now, where is the attachment located? In the mind. In a waking state, there is Atma and there is attachment. In the deep sleep state, there is Atma, but there is no attachment. Therefore, Anvaya Nishedha doesn't apply. It doesn't apply. Because Atma is in both places. It doesn't apply. Which means the attachment is not in Atma. The attachment is in the mind. That is what he is saying. Simple verse. So, people ask this question. This is a regular satsang question. Coming from serious students of Vedanta. Students are of two kinds. Some really want to know the truth. And for others it is manoranjan. Means some kind of a spiritual entertainment. And that is one reason. What could be the many reasons that the people come to Vedanta class? Not always they want to learn. It is not always the learning that brings people to Vedanta class. Sometimes they come out of manoranjan, entertainment. People want entertainment, you know that. Why people want entertainment? Because they are bored with themselves. They have to escape from themselves. That's why they want entertainment. Do you know what is the investment of the entertainment industry in America? $1 trillion. That is the entertainment industry. Why the entertainment industry is flourishing so much? Because all people want entertainment. Why they want entertainment? Because they are dead bored with themselves. They have to escape from themselves. Is it true or not? So, they are always looking for a way to get out from oneself. And this Vedanta seems to be one of the ways. Because some Swami, a weird looking guy, in the entire Pennsylvania or in the entire Arizona, there is one weird looking guy. And he will say all kinds of things. Let us see what it is. That is the entertainment. Then some people come for Vedanta by default, whatever that means. Default is a computer word, it is. It was not there before. In 1950, Oxford Dictionary, you will not find the word default. At least in that meaning, you don't find it. Default means they have nothing else to do, therefore they end up in the Vedanta class. Something like that. Is that right? Right usage? By default? Means aisa hi aa gaya. Okay. Therefore, if you really want to know whether you are attached, means you have to look closely. Just superficial approach doesn't work. You have to look closely. Then only this kind of a verse, it works. You have to look very closely. There is attachment. You are attached to your son, let us say. Okay? And you see, when you are attached to your son, you cannot be happy. You are bound, and your son also cannot be happy in your presence. Because you are attached. In your absence, he is happy. Because he is not attached. That is the secret of it. Young people, they are generally active and they are lively and enthusiastic because they are not attached. Things happen. Go to college, study, write exams, get marks, this and that. Things happen. They are not attached. The day they are attached, he is not happy anymore. A young man told me, he was not expecting university first rank in BSc. He was interested in the subject matter and studying well and enthusiastically, lovingly he was studying, and he got BSc first rank. Then joined MSc. Now he wanted first rank. And he lived a life of misery for 2 years. Gets first rank, all right, but those 2 years are misery. When he was not expecting anything, 3 years was like breeze it went. No. So it is not about hard work or whatever. It is not about goals and all that. It is about attachment. So the father is attached to the son. Therefore, father is burdened. He feels the heavy weight of attachment. And the son is not attached. He is not attached to the parents. He is not attached to the school or college so much. Things happen. He gets first rank, all right. First rank or first class. So he remains lively, vital in his life. That much difference the attachment makes. Attachment makes you unhappy when everything is, there is no reason for unhappiness. Attachment makes you burdened when there is no reason for burden. Attachment makes you age early and takes away the vitality from life. Attachment is like poison, it is. Raga, attachment, is a sweet poison, and aversion, dvesha, is bitter poison. Both poisons kill. What difference it makes? You see, the capital punishment is there. So earlier it used to be guillotine, capital punishment, guillotine. Nowadays, the person lies down on a nice stretcher and they give an injection and he dies. What difference it makes? Therefore, whether it is sweet poison or bitter poison, poison is poison. Attachment is poison. And where is this attachment? When you sleep, there is no attachment. When you wake up, what happens? When you wake up, what happens? The mind becomes active. And then there is the attachment bothering you. This means attachment is located in mind or in Atma. In mind it is located, not in Atma. What does that mean? It means there is no attachment in you. That is Atma. Atma is that. There is no attachment in you. Then how come I feel that I am attached? You should not feel that you are attached. Because there is no attachment in you, you cannot feel you are attached, right? I do not wear a hat. Therefore, I don't feel that there is a hat on my head. What is this? Huh? I don't feel that there is a hat on my head because I am not wearing a hat. So if I am not attached, I should not feel attached. But what is this contradiction? On one side, I am not attached, but I feel deeply attached and suffer. What is this contradiction? You have to examine that. This can wait for tomorrow's class. Om Purnamada